Are we live all over?
We are. I believe so.
We are live.
Hello, we are.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. Ooh, what's happening? There's crazy stuff happening on my phone.
I don't have a phone right now. But I do have a bowl.
I'm going to wave.
Tina's going to set the whole thing up as we just hit some bowls.
Oh my gosh, it came up right away.
Did it?
Oh, we have no title.
We don't need a title, do we?
We don't need a title.
There's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Breathe in lightness in the midst of heaviness.
Wow, look at that. That was great.
One more time. Ring that
You want it
beautiful
again?
bell. Yeah.
Bells will be ringing on Christmas Day.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yes, that's what I said.
That's something new.
It's so...
That's it. I feel like I could keep bringing this bowl forever. We can't.
But we wanted to say hello to everyone. It's been a while. It has been a while. Because sometimes life intervenes. Sometimes.
Life is a roller coaster. It's a coaster of ups and downs.
Yeah. And for me, the new year is really only just beginning. What's the date? March...
It's 3/6 today, love.
3/6. March 6th. And for me, this is the new year.
Now we're in it. How about you? Is this the new year for you?
So it's been a while. However, we wanted to come on because... Well, there's just so much going on in the world. There's so much going on energetically. There's so much going on personally. You know, obviously, we haven't been on because of a lot's happening in our world. I had to go away and take care of a friend. Our fur baby
Passed away.
That was a big deal. And then just in general... There's a lot going on in the spiritual community, especially the Kundalini Yoga community.
That's true.
That is heartbreaking, earth-shattering, but also a real sign of the times that we're in, of this divine feminine rising era and this fall of the only way I could really title it is the fall of the patriarchy, which has been 1,000-year-old thing happening. And as a result of that and the divine feminine rising, you guys have heard, we've been saying this almost every live, like truths are being exposed. And in 2020, that's the year where they're going to be exposed even more. So regardless of where you're at with any of that, if you're sensitive, you're feeling it. We're definitely feeling it, right?
We are.
And so we have had to really take a step back and take care of ourselves.
Personally, for me, I've had a lot of issues. You know.
You want to share about those issues?
I will, because
Okay.
maybe other people are having these complications. They're not threatening to my being, but they're threatening to. They try to expose you in a way that is this really happening to me? So I'm going to tell you something. Since November of Thanksgiving of 2019, which was a few months ago, all of a sudden I started to have allergic reactions out of nowhere, basically. And the allergic reactions first I thought was happening in my eyes. And what would happen is I'd have a lot of discharge in my eyes. My eyes would get really red, swell up. I took medications. I had...
Well, you went every route. He tried every natural route first.
Everything. I tried everything natural first.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Then I started going to the doctor, right? And I never go to the doctor, ever.
Dermatologist,
Don't
regular
go.
doctor, allergy, you name it. Like,
and,
across the spectrum.
And a lot of stuff puts a lot of things in your head. I will say that. And I drove Tina crazy believe it or not.
Crazy.
And I do tell people this all the time. I drove her nuts.
Not fun for me.
And what's happened is all of a sudden I'm not actually able to put. I always put Young Living essential oils on my body. Not to get crazy, in my mouth, right?
Like peppermint oil.
It's
not crazy.
And like shampoos that I used, or even I always would put coconut oil in my hair, and that was a problem. Everything became a problem. Anything that was for my face became a serious problem, and it took me months and months and months to realize that I don't put anything on my face anymore, and I still have it. I could tell when I wake up in the morning, I still have this eye discharge, almost like sand in my eye, out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. And then for me, it hasn't. Last year was my year of it being physical. This year, it's been emotional. Effing city. So it's so interesting. That may not be your story, but the point is, that if you're even watching this, you are a sensitive being. And on some level or layer, the energies that we're all being exposed to are helping us purge and cleanse, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual. It could be all of the above. And as a result, it's really this initiation into this higher energy. We've talked before about 3D, 5D, not trying to get all crazy with you, because at the end of the day, yes, we're here on Earth in this human realm. However, energetically, emotionally, there's a lot happening. And so more than ever, we're being called to or being asked to take more time for ourselves, to be more still, to look at what is the most important in our lives. Because if there are distractions, if there are things, relationships, people that are not in alignment with your truth, guess what? Shit's going to go down. And that's kind of what's happening also. So there's things we're not in control of, like obviously, our fur baby chose to leave, and it's been the most painful, yet at the same time, he's coming through nonstop to comfort us now on the other side. He was 18 years old, almost. So there's a reason for everything, but that doesn't mean that we don't go through all of the stages of why is this happening. Billy's had many theories.
That's for sure. I love my theories.
He loves his theories of why is all this happening. And there's that part of it too that we all go through. And then on a whole, whether you know about the Kundalini Yoga stuff or not, it's not just Kundalini Yoga and Yogi Bhajan, who, if you don't know, there's this whole truth that's coming out that some people want to just push aside and pretend that it's not true, which is just, for me, the most ridiculous thing in the world. Because not only is there proof of all the women that are coming forward that were abused, all of the people coming forward that were abused in some way, shape, or form, and the accounts of literally it being brought up in the 80s and in the 90s, and then everybody just kind of squashed it. It's like this is the year 2020 where all of these truths are coming out. And so all of that to say, it's because we're out of balance personally, we're out of balance collectively, and you can sure turn on the news and see that.
It's like Tina and I, we were talking earlier today, and I was like, don't you realize what's happening is all these teachers from the old paradigm, as I would call it.
Right. Not even just from the East, as far as India.
Yeah,
all,
doesn't matter
so
where it is,
many
all over the world. Doesn't matter where it was. Mm-hmm. They're all being exposed.
Yes.
And those teachers maybe that worked in the past, but that will not work now.
Yep.
And so there are teachers out there who are coming out now, who are in the divine feminine, bringing that energy in.
Matt Kahn.
You have Derek O'Neill. and I'm sure there's many, many more. But those are only two that I follow that bring in that energy.
Esther Hicks for me is another one. My two go-tos, Esther Hicks and Metcon. But
and like it just goes to show you that old paradigm is not work. That's done. So will you step forward into the new world, because we are in a new era, a new energy. So are you stepping into the new energy and the new world? That's what it is.
And this new energy, this new paradigm is not putting any teacher, any human on a pedestal. And sometimes, you guys, you don't realize that you're even doing it. I did it with my own teacher. And now, through all the things that are coming out, I'm realizing all the ways I didn't realize that I did it. So it's not like, sometimes we don't know that we're doing it. Sometimes we don't realize that we're like, I can hear myself saying so much, my teacher says. And a lot of it for me on a personal level is I want to give credit to my teacher of what they're saying. But then we have to kind of check ourselves, well, what does this teacher say?
That's right.
And that's what this new paradigm is, what this new era is. And I think that it's really important to talk about right now. Even though we've been talking about it, we're seeing now that it is imperative to go inward. And even though you probably heard that from every teacher and in every kind of like spiritual manuscript, we need to look at it in a new way. We need to start to perceive it from a whole new lens. Because it's not enough to just know a spiritual principle or to just know, I read this book and I had this awareness. Are you walking that truth? Are you practicing it? Because if you're not, that's what I am seeing all of these spiritual teachers from the old paradigm and maybe even some new ones. That's the trap they're falling into. They might have started out pure or they might not have. That's up to debate. But at some point, the ego kind of just hooks them and then they go a different path. So if you're not walking the path of what you're teaching, and it's very easy to get caught up in the busyness of serving other people. If you're not walking your path and your message, that is what needs to really be looked at. Practicing what it is that you're saying.
It's okay to follow the teacher. But there comes a point where do you follow your heart? Because a lot of times we follow the ego of following them and like Tina was saying, putting them on that higher level. And I can tell you right now that teachers of today, they'll tell you that they can't wait for you to realize the mastery of who you are, because everyone has a story to tell and everyone is the teacher. When
you say the teachers of today, you mean the new paradigm?
The new paradigm,
okay. Yeah. I just want to be clear.
That's fine.
I didn't know what you
meant. The new paradigm. And that's what it's all about. It's not like, if you follow me, you'll find the sanctuary or whatever you want to call it. It's not about that. It's about you stepping into oneness. The oneness of one. The oneness of one is everyone. And everyone is a teacher.
And it's really... like you might be at a different stage or path of your spiritual development. And so honoring what you resonate with and what you don't. And really looking at like what it is that works for you and what doesn't. And trying it out. And just being okay with the fact that it can change also. There is so much divide happening right now. And, obviously there's a divide happening globally and within the U.S., obviously. But now spiritually, in the spiritual community, there's an even bigger divide, especially of the last week or so. And being personally connected to it, I've been stomach sick every day because of how sensitive I am. Because not only Billy's just let it go. That's what he says to me. Just let it go. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just let it go.
That's good. That was awesome.
But it's this divide that is happening for a deeper reason and a deeper meaning. And oh my God, in social media can be really hell on earth. Even with the most beautiful of people that just feel the need to comment and put, their animosity or like whatever. And it's just like, I just see these same people all day long, like with their statements and their anger. And it's just like, could you use that?
Dinosaur right there.
What? I did? Oh, goodness. Can you use that time where you're putting all this energy into your anger of wanting to throw away and burn the manuals and teachings and whatever else? And there's no disrespect if that's your choice of anything, but what if you just went inward and listened to this? Wow, there's something to do. And that's, I feel like we don't do that. We're so scared to just turn inward and connect with the most important teacher. The one that's right here. The one that's within us.
I think the most important thing with where we are now, with the energy, with the new paradigm, with the divine feminine coming in is, are you willing to move into a new era? Are you, so like if something all of a sudden, like, I don't want to bring up the yoga thing, but if something all of a sudden happens in this yoga world, are you willing to are you going to stay in the divide? Are you going to stay in the fear? Are you going to say, what am I going to do now? Or are you just going to step into go to another teacher who's in grace, who's in grace?
And more alignment.
And more alignment with who you are. Because remember, that's what it's all about. It's like it's an alignment of who you are and what you stand for and what you feel.
Yeah.
Remember, you find the teacher, right? Mm-hmm. Does the teacher find you? No, you do, because it's in your heart. It's you're attracted to that.
Right.
Spirituality is levels and levels and levels
and layers and layers and layers.
How much can you handle? How much can you handle? How much can you handle? Mm-hmm. And like that's what it's all about. It's like, all right, well, I handled this so far. I had physical problems. Oh my God, I've had this spiritual issue that's come up already. Am I able to get past this? And you just keep going up. And that's what spirituality is all about. If you're going to stay in that, and that is actually fear. If you're going to stay in that fear, then you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be, as I would always say, stuck in the mud.
Right. Because everything's an opportunity, and it's like, how are you choosing to use your time? Look, I've gone down the rabbit hole this week, big time. He knows. Because I've needed to research all of the stuff, because I am a teacher of Kundalini Yoga. And look, I'm teaching tomorrow, and I have no idea what I'm going to teach and how, because at this present moment, I cannot separate the teachings from the teacher. That's just me personally. If you can, awesome.
Right.
I'm not at a point where I can do that quite yet. So it's liberating in one hand and heartbreaking on another hand. Hey, Charlene, I just want to say hello. I love you. She's just saying I agreed. And Lisa, I love that you're saying we're all teachers and we're all students. Exactly. And it's important to remember that. And Jeanette says, within the negative energy is the key to open to one's divinity. Yes, it may be a challenge, but the outcome is worth it. And thank you, Jeanette, because that is key to what Billy was just saying. And what we're saying here is it's the world of duality. It's the world of, if you really look back at so many human teachers, there has been some, I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert that said, never, ever meet your mentors because they'll always let you down. And I don't even think she was even talking about the severity of some of the stuff that's being exposed now. But if you think about it, your teacher, you put on a pedestal. In other words, like if it's an author or whatever, or someone that's really helped, obviously if it's a teacher that you've been in contact with, you've already met them. But we do this thing where we're inspired by someone or their message, and then we just don't even realize that we have put them on some kind of higher plane than ourselves. Whereas the very reason that we admire them is because it's something within ourselves that recognizes that. And so that's where I love that even Jeanette saying within the negative energy is the key to open to more divinity. Because that fall or that heartbreak, or even us losing Raphael shifting form, our cat, the heartbreak has opened up to something new. The ending became a beginning. And it's not just a cliche. It's something really real. And that's happening as a collective right now.
Remember, when we first begin to crack open or awaken, we need someone to inspire us to keep when that starts to happen, because it's a very spiritual, physical, mental, emotional outbreak of your divinity. Mm-hmm. So we look to these teachers, and that's fine. It's okay. But when something happens, especially with these older teachers of the old paradigm, when something happens, it's just another step for you to go into maybe a new teacher. Maybe you teach yourself. Maybe you collectively you come together with a lot more other people, or you take those people with you. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of that's done now. So now it's time to move forward.
Right.
Because what happened? Well, a lot of times we want to stay. This was comfortable, but maybe what happened is this new paradigm of this new energy that's just shooting in and just giving us rays of love, is saying, hey, look, that guy wasn't authentic as you thought.
Right.
So now it's time. Can you let that energy go? Because it's just energy. Can you let that energy go? And let's go into the new one. So a lot of people, they'll stay in that energy.
They'll stay in the disappointment and the anger and the story.
The story.
They'll stay into the story.
We love our stories, believe me.
Right?
And Billy loves his stories. So
well, you love your theories.
I'm a theory person.
He's got a theory every day of what he's allergic to.
That's true.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, now I'm allergic to everything now.
Well, so that's your new theory.
It's not only...
but it's everything.
It's just everything. So, look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay as long as my eyes aren't blowing up like Mr. Magoo. I'm okay.
I love it. Charlene says, I lost my job last month because I spoke up against mistreatment.
Right.
But I know it's a lesson I needed to heal, and I would have stayed in the victim mode. And see, that's huge,
that's awesome.
Because, Charlene, thanks for bringing that up. What it comes down to is each of us personally taking responsibility for our role and our choice of how we want to see whatever situation it is. And yeah, sometimes we need to be in the story of it. I told you guys in a live, when Raphael first transitioned, I gave myself a week. I cried, I mourned, I sobbed, I slept. I gave myself that space. I was angry. I sat there and was like, I didn't like this and that, and what if this, Now with this whole thing with Kundalini Yoga, I've been the same thing of going through, but this person says this, and I'm talking to Sikhs, and he made this up, and and I'm allowing that all to be because it's part of it, and it's the only way that I can go through it. I see people where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad they're there. I'm not there yet. Oh, wow, that person's really angry. I honor that. I'm glad I'm not there. But it's still all just letting it all be. But then at some point it has to be, but what do I feel? And what do I know? And how can I, like Charlene said, not be in a victim mode that this is happening to me? How can I see that, wow, I need to make a change because we're in a new we're in a new paradigm period. And then how does this help me move forward where I'm claiming my sovereignty, my power, and I get to choose. And I think that so many people just want someone else to choose for them. And that's what religions are.
Absolutely.
And that's what cults are, whether you realize you're in it or not. And that's what even some spiritual practices can be if you're not really mindful of what place you're coming from. But it's becoming more aware.
But that's where I think we are. So so you have all this fear right now. There's more fear than there's ever been right now, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least we feel it, right? There's more fear. There's more divide than we've ever felt, as Tina was saying.
Right.
But did you ever think that maybe it was just to
get us to this point,
harness your energy? Because the only way you can really get through this is to harness yourself, harness that energy of love or energy of strength, energy of your own purpose, and energy of being one with not only yourself but your partner and with everyone else out there who is driving like a freaking lunatic,
Oh,
right?
yeah, people are insane right
people
now.
are insane. But it's the energy. So it's all up to us to harness our energy and to harness our chi, as I would say it, to just shoot out that love, shoot out peace, and to shoot out, most of all, calmness right now. Because if we're not calm, how is everybody else going to be calm? It's impossible. You can only be calm when someone else is calm. It's a known fact.
No, you just said that.
What did I say?
You can't. You just said you can only be calm when someone else is calm.
Oh yeah, I messed that up.
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Yeah. So
you just meant you can only be calm when you are calm, right. And then you can make a change in the calmness
Your
around
energy
you.
of calmness. If you're calm, then when the lunacy is out there, when you walk in calm, it's like walking in love. So that's what we want to do. That's our example.
I love it. So it's weird, you guys, because your messages...
The messages are like
they
way,
don't
like
fully
way out.
come up and they're like way off, but like
This
Mary
happened last
said,
time.
we will see more fall from their pedestals, but then I can't see what else. And then, anyway...
Maybe we should choose a card.
Yeah, we have cards for you guys.
Unless, does anybody have any questions?
Well, no, I love Charlene on Instagram. Sorry, my soul sister, I love you. But your comments are so perfect in alignment with what we're saying. I am now choosing to run toward the fear, to learn the lessons I need to grow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's so huge, like so powerful, because I think that's with me. Like this past grieving, I leaned into the grief. I slept 3 days in a row till like 12 because I didn't want to wake up. Not in like a scary way, but it was just like I needed to just be still and sleep and give myself permission to be in that place and cry and allow every feeling possible to come up, and then allow all of that to just be. And we're not taught to do that.
No.
Bless my family, love them. They're probably at this point, if they were watching, would have tuned out. Would just like, are you better? Do you feel better? Like, it's a new day. Just keep your mind busy. Just get, just keep busy.
Right.
Well, that doesn't work for me. So good intentions, but it's like at the end of the day, what works for you.
Yeah, tomorrow is always a new day, but
Yes.
when you're spiritually awakening,
and you feel as deeply as I freaking feel,
you still have that issue to deal with, no matter what. Maybe you might feel better the next day, but no matter what, you're going back to that until you deal with it.
Right?
Whatever it may be.
So the first card that I pulled that I think is so powerful, because I think this is as a collective what we're going through. I'm going to show Instagram first. It's the void. And you can even see it's just black. It's like the black hole.
Let's put it a little closer.
Okay.
You usually like to block my face.
Yeah.
So
Well, you can see there.
The void.
It's kind of like this cosmic little black hole. The card itself says...
Called the void, but it's pretty cool.
Thank you, Bridget. I got your message. She's saying sorry about your fur baby. Miss you. Her message came up, and I'm glad it did. So the void, it says stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. But for me, it's not just like embracing winter. Winter is like, for me, more of like a season or a cycle of the dark. Okay? The void is the unknown. And you guys, with all the stuff we're seeing, with I'm not even going to... The news. All the stuff on the news that are just distraction tactics from what's really happening. Shut that down and pray, is what I would say. But what this is what everybody's so afraid of, the unknown. What if instead of all of the fear energy or whatever it is that you're putting your attention into exploring that is the dark stuff, you did it for a certain point and then you took the exact same amount of time diligently and you prayed and you sat there in love and light and in faith and you said, okay, I know that there's this great unknown, but I incarnated on the planet at this time for a purpose. This is no mistake. And like I said to Billy the other night, we go through it too. I said, can you believe we signed up for this? But then it was like, yeah, we signed up for this. So the void, this is what we are going through right now. It's this fear of the unknown. But what do we do in the midst of that? Do you realize that if more of us went into the love and the prayer, and just whether you feel it or not, having some kind of mantra or vision or color or prayer or something that you just could repeat any time that you move into worry, that's going to uplift the energy. I love that Stephanie Lodge, who we did the summit with, she said, when you're watching something dark or fearful, visualize violet light from your eyes going out, and oh my gosh, may all I gaze upon be blessed. So I want to give her credit because it's not mine, but I use it all the time. She goes, I'll just be shopping, grocery food, someone might irritate me, may all I gaze upon be blessed. And I know that Matt Kahn does that. When we went to see him in the city, he said he took a walk in the morning, and as he was walking, his intention was just blessing every person.
Sure.
So again, it's like your intention. Do you have to feel it? No, but if that's your intention, we're in a time where, all this scary shit's going to continue to appear. But what can you do in the midst of it? And that's what needs to so be anchored. Sorry, I just feel really powerful about that.
That was great. That was awesome. I got my card now.
I know you do.
By the way, I have a lot of cards.
And yes, the divine light is in the middle of the void card. Thank you, Jeanette.
Okay, show it again. Go ahead.
Okay, Billy's turn.
All right, my turn. The magical map shifter. So this is like my kind of stuff.
I'll show it for them.
I like the magical kind of thing, so that's really awesome.
So let me just do this for Facebook. You could see it's this being, and then Instagram.
So as you see, the magical map shifter has a blindfold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So life is shifting every second. It's every second of actually your life. But it's not just your life, it's all of our lives. There's a shift happening every time. You have the unicorn flying as you see it here, right?
Yes.
The unicorn in there, all right? But notice how it's a circle. So a circle of life. So everything is circling.
I like that.
Right? There's a lot of things in here. There's I don't know what's in here. You got I don't even know. It looks like a fish. It looks like a lantern. A leaf that's shining, but the main thing is it's that golden circle that keeps happening, and that's the shift that's happening. So remember, what's happening? There's always movement.
Yeah.
So when we think that we're stuck, or we think that there's fear, or we think that there's, oh my God, this is what my teacher did, or this is what's happening, the circle just keeps going. It just waits for you to go back into it and keep going, because that's what life is. It just keeps going. And if you stay in your little area, you'll stay there. But the magical shift always keeps going. It just waits for you to get back in and keep going. And what's that magical shift? That is healing. That is love. That is peace. That is your strength. That is the oneness that we all look for this planet and the universe. That's what's happening. That's why the person has the blindfold on. Because when we have our eyes on, we get the egos in our head going, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do? But when you have the blindfold on, you can't really see. The only thing that you can see is the inside of yourself. Your love. You can only see your heart. You see the majesty, who you are. And that's the golden shift. That's my story.
I love it. I love it because I was wondering if you were going to get to the blindfold, and you did. So you're right on.
I have some qualities.
I have one more card. Well, I have a few here, but there's just ones that I'm drawn to. And then this one is from my dear friend Angela Hartfield, who I was just with in Hawaii. Her new deck's so great, Whispers of the Ocean, so I just want to share it with everybody. It says, love where you are. Use your sensitivity to know when to act. Connect your heart to your head when determining what you would like. And I don't really know what that is. Does anybody know? They're all sea creatures. But the point is, love where you are. And I think that's one of the most, don't know. That's one of the major reasons I love Matt Kahn so much, because aside from him being, to me, a channel, a light, a love, a teacher of this new paradigm that we're talking about, if you really listen to what he says, read anything that he has written, feel into anything, it's actually so simple, because it's all about love. It's all about compassion. And the problem that we get into, like Billy just said, is if our eyes are open, we're always looking for what isn't or happening or right. And so what we're not doing enough is the turning inward, is loving where we are. It's like what Charlene said before of like, and what we were saying, taking responsibility for what it is that's coming up in our lives, because we can take domain over our choice of how we perceive something. And how long do we want to stay in the reactionary part of it? And then how long do we want to say, okay, I'm going to love where I am. And even by just me saying, I hate all these feelings that are coming up. I cannot believe that this injustice is being presented and I feel betrayed. But I'm going to love where I am, and I'm going to choose love. And from that lens of love, that's how I'm going to move forward. So it's even in just me saying that, I feel elevated. So it's whatever is happening, how can you zoom out and see through the lens of love? But not just have it be some like little, cliche. Have it be something that you're actively practicing. I may not like how I'm feeling, but wow, I love that this is bringing me to a deeper part of who I am. And from this place, thank you, God, Source, angels, whatever. Thank you for helping me see that this is an opportunity for me. And so what is being asked of me now? And how can I be the teacher that I'm meant to be, the way shower, the light bearer that I'm meant to be in my unique way? And maybe it's not anything that I've ever been told, but can I trust this?
You ready?
Yeah.
So she had what? Love?
Love where you are.
Where you are. Can you love who you are? I do have another card, but love who you are. So, one thing that's been coming up for me is we're so hard on ourselves. I'm too tall, I'm too small, I'm too short. Mm-hmm. I'm too skinny. Maybe I'm too. I feel like I have too much weight on me. My nose is big. My nose is small. I don't have the perfect lips. My lips are too small. I want fatter lips. It's like this egoistic thing that happens inside of us. Mm-hmm. That tells us, I want this. Mm-hmm. Can you give me this? The ego tells you, I want to, I would rather not be this tall. I want to be a little shorter, And then maybe the person who thinks that they're shorter say, I would like to be a little, I wish I could grow a little bit more. It's this whole thing. We're never satisfied. The ego's never satisfied. Let's put it that way.
Right.
The ego is never satisfied of who you are. And that's a distraction. Because you're beautiful, Mm-hmm. We're all beautiful, and can you love who you are? Mm-hmm. It's a big thing because the distractions, we have enough distractions out there. Yeah. Why will you let the ego take hold of you and say, I wish I looked like this, or I wish I looked like that? Why would you want to wish that? You're beautiful. Mm-hmm. You're already beautiful. Why? Why do we do that? We all do it. But let's love who we are, Again, then that goes with the blindfold. Close your eyes and be you. Don't let the ego look out there and say, I wish I looked like that. Because why? We all have special gifts.
And I think too, like in light of that, even though we know this, we're all being called to really turn inward more and more and more. I have clients who just won't do it, and I'm watching them, like, they'll book a session, and then they're like, I feel so good for a few days after our session. And then I feel terrible. I'm like, okay, are you doing the meditation I sent you, or you know, and working with them to try to find what's going to work for them. And like, there's no personal practice. Like, it doesn't have to be like my meditation. It's just me working with them. But if you're not doing the inner work, then you're constantly, it's like a tug of war with every external thing that's going to pull your attention. The person on the road, the news, whatever virus, whatever your partner's saying. And then you're just not even like tug of war one way. It's just like, you know, you've got no anchoring.
I like that.
But I like that card, so you can...
Here's my last card. I got Joan of Arc, Voice of Truth. All right? Joan of Arc, Voice of Truth. And what does it say? It says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. And I think that
Joan of Arc, perfect.
It holds truth for all of us, really. I mean, a lot of us have a hard time speaking our truth, you know? You know, a lot of times our throat chakra will tighten, you know, especially in a moment of where we think we should really speak, and your heart starts pounding, and then this tightens, and then like, do you have the courage, as Charlene did actually? Do you have the courage to actually speak the truth? You know, and. It's you know, Charlene, I just want to say something, that what you did was admirable. It was honorable for yourself, because you spoke your truth.
And she says too, coming from a reformed, wounded warrior space, I'm approaching my self-healing as a way to step into my authenticity. Boom.
You know, and again, so that, like this, you know, if you look at this card, you know, Joan of Arc, she has a sword. That's the sword of truth. I'll show the card to you. She has the halo over her, and that's the circle of life, always moving, you know? She has flowers. Flowers is growth, so she's always growing, you know? And that's what we're all about. You know, we're all about just growing, you know? And then, like, what happens is we get this, you know, as in there, it's like this fear comes in. Well, are you working on letting the fear go? You know, are you working on that? You know, do you do something? You know, a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to let the fear go. Well, you know what? A lot of things is just teachings, you know? You know, what I do is I think of like an ocean of love. So the ocean, I say, you know, wash away all my fears, and wash that away. Think like you're on the, you know, anything would work for any of you, but think of it like you're at the beach, and all your worries and the fear gets washed away. You know? Mother Earth will do that for you, you know.
And that's why, you know, this Joan of Arc card just rings true for me as women. So if you know, I feel like so many of the people that like are here even right now are women, and a lot of you guys are in my goddess course, and that's why we're, you know, launching the course again. But, you know, the Joan of Arc card for me is that embodiment of the divine feminine, and why so much of what we're seeing and being exposed is the fall of the masculine. It's not like to point fingers. It's just, and I posted this in my goddess group, that, you know, what's happening is a rage and an anger and an injustice that has happened for so long is in the cellular memory of each person who incarnated as a woman in this lifetime. And so when we feel that injustice, when we've had our voice, whether we've chosen to by what someone has told us or giving our power away, we have all of that within us that needs to come out. So yeah, there's, you know, visualization. I just released a meditation with the goddess Sekhmet from Egypt to my goddess ladies in the course of expressing in whatever way comes out as a way to heal, to grow, to transform, because we're not taught that that's okay. So to be able to allow the voice to maybe you hear your voice for the first time from allowing whatever needs to come forth to be expressed, whether it's crying or grieving or shouting or dancing or singing in the privacy of where you feel safe. And as a result of you going through that, or as Billy said, using the ocean or Mother Earth or any and all of that.
Or it's as Tina would say, like, you know, she has a goddess course, and it's all for just, you know, the females. So it's like coming as a collective as one. It necessarily doesn't, you know, and I'm just saying, like, when you can come to a collective as one, that's where you're most vulnerable to actually speak your truth. And maybe you speak your truth in that goddess realm, you know. And the one thing that I want to say is that, yeah, you know, the patriarchy is falling. That's for sure. You know,
I have to giggle,
but there are men who bring in the energy of the feminine. It's not just a masculine body. It's, you know, men they do bring in that energy of love. That's what it is. It's energy of love. It's not energy of this power. Patriarchy is energy of power. You know, feminine is the energy of love, and there are men who are doing that, and so forth. So I need to say that because it's very important to think not all men are bad.
And that's so true. And I'm glad you said that, because what's being exposed is giving all men an opportunity to be a voice of truth. And that's what this time is all about, so that we can all come back into balance, and so that we can move forward in more unity than in divide. And that's kind of, you know, how we started and how we'll end. I do have a goddess course. I know a lot of you guys know that. The links are everywhere, and you know, if you're feeling
should have said this in the beginning.
Yeah,
of the whole thing. Yeah.
You know, it's morphed and it's evolved and it's powerful, and this is the time for it. But it's really just for you, even in your own space and corner, to really, can you do it alone? I just think that in this day and age, we need each other. Whether you know, especially for women, we need to be in our tribe. Whether it's you're finding people personally, whether you come and join the tribe that I have, whether you build your own. We're not meant to go solo anymore. We've been doing that for too long, and it doesn't work. And I'm even finding that even personally. I need to reach out more. And so life experiences happen to me, and I've had to learn that myself. So, yes.
Everyone's having a life experience. That's the whole thing. So, like, if you think you can navigate it through your own, you can't. I was just going to say, you just can't. It's hard. Like, we need to all come together, you know. So whether Tina's having a course or someone else is having a course, you know, you want to bring that energy together so everyone can get through it together. Because I can tell you right now, I'm going through stuff. Tina's going through stuff, and I'm sure all of you are going through things. You know, and everyone else out there is going through stuff, and it's a matter of us collectively coming together as one. That's the bottom line, you know. So
we love you guys. If you feel like this message, you know, somebody else could benefit from it, you want to share it, we love that.
Yeah, if you guys can all share it right now, that'd be great. Yeah,
sending you love. Reach out. We'll put some links for. I didn't even talk about it. I have a free full.
Hi, Danielle.
A free full moon goddess circle for men and women. True. It's just a goddess ceremony, divine feminine ceremony, but it could be for men. It's on Monday. I'll put a link somewhere Monday, and it's recorded also. So if you want to join us, it's free, and it's Monday for the full moon, first super full moon of 3. So we send you love. Reach out if you need anything. Share if you feel guided, and thank you for being here. We will be back. This is really this is our new year.
I think this is the first one we've done this year. So
love you, Charlene, and love you guys so much.
Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.
We will be back.